people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Hello, my name is Teresa Collins, and I am an Executive Council member for AARP Illinois. AARP, a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization, has been working to promote the health and well-being of older Americans for more than 60 years. AARP Illinois is proud to represent all those who are 50 plus in Illinois and our 1.7 million members. And we thank you for the opportunity to be your wise friend and fierce defender. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life for all as we age, leading positive social change and delivering value to members through advocacy, service, and information. At AARP, we know that staying fit is one of the pillars of healthy living, and we want to help you on your fitness journey. Physical activity can boost memory, improve thinking, and even lower dementia risk. It's not too late to start. AARP is proud to offer today's virtual event to start or continue you on your fitness journey. Have a wonderful class and enjoy.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Diane Butera, and this is Mobility, Strength, and Balance for Growing Older and Stronger. Thank you, AARP Illinois. Thank you to Teresa Jones for making this available to us. What an honor it is to get to share this information with you. It's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and I love sharing things and helping people feel better in their bodies and have a really awesome experience of learning new things. What I have found is that we often come to the table with a lot of different things in our head about what's going to be happening. And I just want to reassure you that today's class is going to stair step in terms of what we'll be doing, because we are going to do a lot of activities, but some of them we'll be in the chair, and we'll just be in the chair. Then we'll move to standing, and then we'll go to the floor. So you can stop and start wherever it makes sense to you, okay? If you notice that I said here, have a therapy pinky ball and a strap. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the pinky ball. It's just a small rubber ball. It's a little bit smaller than a tennis ball and a bit squishier. I get mine at the local drugstore. Has a toy section, and they cost $1.99, but you can also find them online as well. Then I ask for you to have a strap. You can use a belt, a scarf. This is an official yoga strap, but you don't have to have one. So anything, we can improvise, yes? A couple other things that I did not mention initially, I think they're going to be put in there. I think you're going to see it, would be a block. So there is a really easy way to improvise for a block. This is a block. It's about, I don't know, what is it about? 3 inches high, maybe 4 or 5 inches wide, and about 7 inches tall. You can easily take a towel, get some packing tape, and make your towel the size of a block, okay? I just want to let you see that you can do that. We're also going to do some light weights, and 1 to 3 pounds. You can do 5 if you want to, but soup cans and water bottles work well for that as well. It's good to have a chair and a wall. And then again, we are coming to the floor, so you'll want some padding, whether you have a Pilates mat or yoga mat, a couple yoga mats, particularly because we are going to be doing some Pilates. It'll be more of a gentle Pilates, if Pilates can be gentle. But it'll be a beginner's Pilates. So I want you to have that opportunity with a little bit of challenge as well. I always try to give you options. I call them exit ramps. So if something doesn't feel right, you'll go back to the prior exit ramp, okay? All right, so here's what's going to be happening today. Here is your agenda. So there you go. I'm going to talk a little bit about me, a little bit more about me. I think it's very useful to know who's this person who is in front of you. I wish I could get to know you better. And then we're going to talk about mobility, strength, and balance, getting a grasp of what it really means and how aging affects mobility, strength, and balance, and how we achieve a better quality of life by enhancing our mobility, increasing our strength, and improving balance. Then again, as I mentioned, we'll do some seated movement, we'll do some standing movement, and we'll do some floor activities. Notice how I said movement and activities. That word exercise for some people is taboo. They don't really like it. So maybe you just think about fitness, activities, movement. It's a different way, our brain really analyzes words. So it might be a different vocabulary for us. I'll do a review of what we just went over, and then I'm going to offer you some resources. This is recorded, so I am not live when you actually watch this. I do try my best to show up, but often I am a grandmother to some wonderful little ones. I'm often babysitting, so I don't often make it to the actual airing, but I'd like to check the messages. So if you want to ask something, and then I'll give you my email. So if you want to ask something in the chat, I'll probably be able to find that. Okay. All right. So a little bit about me. You know what, Ben? We can go ahead and spotlight me for a second. I just want to be a little friendlier here. There we go. Hey. All right. Again, I'm Diane. Last name is Butera, and I've been teaching these classes for AARP for, oh gosh, I don't know, 10 years. I started with AARP. I used to own a couple yoga studios. But my background was you wouldn't find me in a yoga studio or doing Pilates. I really thought that the way to be fit was to be a runner and to lift weights. So that was my background. And it took me some humility to walk into a yoga class. It was just realizing that maybe there were areas of my fitness that needed some more attention. I was quite surprised how hard yoga was, actually, much harder than I expected. But I had been really fortunate to always have really good teachers who kept me safe, who had me go at my own pace. When I was 53, so it was 15 years ago, when I was 53, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I was so grateful that I had been making lots of hefty deposits into my fitness reserve so that when something happened that was pretty aggressive towards my health, I had a lot to draw upon, not just my fitness, but also my relationships and my overall health. A lot of mindfulness practices that I used as well. And you'll hear me talk about those in other webinars, like the one I do for stress and anxiety and for sleep. Those are the other ones, a few of them. Okay, so what happened where I got really focused on strength, mobility, and balance was as I was aging, I started to realize I was losing strength, even though I still went to the gym and still did a lot of things. I was losing strength. We all are. Every year after I think around age 30, we're losing 2% of our muscle mass, which means we have to take preventative measures, right? And so I wanted to find things that I really enjoyed, and I'm hoping that I can offer you some possibilities for what you might enjoy. If you do not like to go to the gym, maybe you can do dancing. If you do not like to go for walks, maybe you find a buddy and you go to the pool together. There are lots of different options, and I'm going to be reviewing those with you, hoping that we can find something that works for you. We'll talk a bit about habits because this is a habit that we have to cultivate. And what I have found is that the most uh, the most often change that is made, what really precipitates change is pain. If we're in enough pain, we change, whether it's emotional pain, psychological pain, physical pain, financial pain, then we decide to change. I'm hoping that you're not in any of those places, but if you are, you might be really motivated to change. And if you aren't, I'm hoping that you don't have to get to that place to create a change. So we'll be talking a bit about habits and how to cultivate a healthy fitness habit. And that'll be important as well. And I'll throw in a few things. I'm not going to really spend too much time on nutrition and sleep, but those also are very important when it comes to strength, balance, and mobility. All right, so my goal here is to make this very user-friendly. And I know we all live in different parts of the country, the weather's different, the food is different, our culture is different. So with all due respect, I appreciate that we're coming from different places. I'm in Oregon right now. It rains all the time here. We don't see the sun much, so we have different needs here. I was just at the park the other day with my grandchildren, my 3-month-old granddaughter in her stroller, and my very active 5.5-year-old. And it was drizzling the whole time, and everybody's just standing out there. We've got our raincoats. Some people don't even have raincoats on, but we just adapt. We adapt to what our environment is. So hopefully you are figuring out ways to adapt to your environment or already have. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you before we get started? Oh, my goal is to make sure that you understand that when I offer things, when I talk about different pieces of information or do exercises, uh, my expertise is in movement and mindfulness practice, but you're the expert on your body. And so I am not here to tell you what you should be doing. I don't want to do that. I'm going to make suggestions. I'm not a doctor, so I always remind you, check with your physician before you incorporate anything that I might be suggesting. That's really important. And to do your research. And good research is not so much WebMD, although WebMD can have some good information. But I like to look at really robust research, respected journals that doctors would use. And so I'll give you some resources that come from the National Institute for Health and a few other resources. But, always question what you hear. I know that a lot of people take supplements, and the research is showing us that there are very, very few supplements that really do any good for us. So I don't know, billions of dollars spent on supplements. And I'm not telling you to throw your supplements out, just saying do your research. All right. And there's nothing wrong with a good old placebo effect either. Okay, let's go back to that slide. I think we're on slide 3 now. I'm going to talk about, next slide. All right, so let's talk about mobility first. Thank you. We'll go back. We'll talk about mobility first. The definition of mobility is our ability to move around in our home, outside of our home, do daily tasks, simple things like reaching into the back seat to get something, getting up and down from a chair, being able to carry our groceries, having the grip strength to hold onto that grocery bag. Regardless of where you are in your life and in your level of mobility, we always want to be able to maximize it and keep our mobility. I have worked with people of all different levels of mobility. I used to work with a woman who had a severe brain injury when she was a teenager. It left her almost a full paraplegic, and we did yoga together. And just that connection that we had, doing a little bit of breathing. She had limited mobility in one arm. She could not feed herself or dress herself or toilet herself, but she did yoga and she got a lot out of it. So regardless of where you are, there's something that we could all be doing, right? Okay, we'll move forward here. So it's small print. You might have to come closer up here, up to the screen, but I don't know if I need to belabor anything here, but the importance of mobility. We want that independence, right? We don't want someone to have to lift us on and off the toilet, hopefully, because we have core strength to do that ourselves. We want to be able to live at home as long as possible. And, if we can, avoid assisted living or a nursing home. The importance of mobility means that we also get to get out of the house and participate. Oh, social connection is so important. It's one of the pillars of brain health. It's one of the pillars of physical health, helps us with our cognitive functioning. It's also an opportunity to be curious and adventurous. People who have curiosity, people who are adventurous, live a lot longer and a lot healthier. So let's make sure that we keep that curiosity going. Preventing falls. You probably heard the statistic about people who fall and break their hips. It's often leads to serious decline. It's very difficult to recover from a serious injury like a broken pelvis or a broken hip. So we want to prevent falls by working on our strength, our mobility, and our balance, and just overall quality of life. It's really nice to be able to continue to travel if we want to, take care of our suitcases, don't have to worry if we're on uneven surfaces. There's so many things that are important to us that require good mobility. All right, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, the less we do, the less we do. And as we age, there are some changes. It's just a natural aging process that we lose muscle and our joints weaken. That's why we have, and bone density decreases. Those affect mobility. That's why it's important that we continue to do things that build strength, that take care of the muscles and joints. There are chronic conditions also that occur, particularly as we get older, that will affect our mobility. So we're always, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Let's keep that 2 steps forward, right? Oh, probably the worst thing that we could do is be sedentary. So even if you are in a chair, move those joints, move those ankles, move those wrists, lift light weights, work on getting up and down from the chair, not plopping into a chair. All right. We don't want to get stiff. We don't want to lose. We don't want to become so weak that we're confined to doing very, very little. All right, we'll go to the next slide. Again, we lose muscle mass as we age. It's not that hard. A couple times a week, upper body one day, lower body the other day, and then doing with weights, light weights, or even resistance training. If you don't like weights, pretty easy to do it at home. You do not have to go to the gym. Those bands are really cool. Doing things like just walking up a step, coming down, walking up the step, doing leg kicks. There's so many simple things that we can do without fancy equipment and just building them into our day. I think it's that habit that's really most important. Most of us know all this stuff, but how do we make it fit into our lives so that we actually want to do it? I think it's kind of like brushing your teeth. If you know what the results are going to be or what you're going to avoid, you do it. So that's why I'm presenting this information, so you feel a little more motivated to work on your strength, your balance, and your mobility. I don't think you would dream of going 2 weeks without brushing your teeth. Well, same with cultivating strength, balance, and mobility. Okay, let's go forward. So again, the importance of strength, it's pretty much the same as it was with mobility. And we'll go forward here. I don't think I need to read those to you. I like seeing happy faces there. All right, and the next one. One of the things that people are often not aware of is that nutrition is and sleep. Nutrition and sleep are so important to maintaining our strength. We do need more protein as we age so that we can take care of our muscle strength, our muscle growth. And again, the less we do, the less we do. I will talk a little bit about nutrition later, I think, because I do want to say a couple of things about that. So important that we are getting fiber, we're getting fresh food, we're eating less processed food, and that we have a diversity of foods. I did a webinar for you all on the gut microbiome, and I think that's still up. I think you can watch that on YouTube. So if you're interested in exploring that, go ahead. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So maintaining our mobility, strength, and balance. Again, getting physical activity, healthy diet, good sleep. Good sleep means 7 to 9 hours. 99% of us need a minimum of 7 hours sleep. I know so many people say, the older I get, the less sleep I need. Not true. It just seems like it. And we don't want fragmented sleep. It's tough because we have to get up and go to the bathroom, or someone next to us is snoring, or maybe we have back pain. But working on getting good sleep, non-fragmented sleep, important, non-medicated sleep, important. I did do a webinar for you all on sleep as well. On healthy diet, I have a little cheat sheet on my refrigerator. It says F goals, and it's a reminder for me to get fruits and fiber, for me to get my grains, for me to get my omega-3, that's in your fatty fishes like salmon, to get aromatics like onions and garlic and celery. Uh, L, legumes, and S would be sulforaphane, which is your cruciferous vegetables and mushrooms. So it's F goals. If you want to look that up, F goals, you can find that online, I'm sure. And kind of fun to make sure that you're meeting your F goals every day. So when I go to get something out of the refrigerator, I like, okay, did I meet my F goals today? I still want those French fries, but I got to meet my F goals. So I focus on that. All right, we can go forward here. Oh gosh, yes, there are a few things that are important to remember when it comes to maintaining our mobility, strength, and balance. In addition to exercise, in addition to sleep, in addition to nutrition, we have to look at underlying conditions. So it's important that you see a doctor and have really frank conversations and feel supported by your physician. You want to set up your environment so that you reduce the risk of falls. And again, being engaged, having a place to show up, people who are expecting you, it's so key, so essential to overall well-being. And we're going to go to the next slide. I did a webinar for you all, and it was about healthy aging and a lot about mindset. And how we think about aging is a major predictor of how long we get to live. So if you'd like to add 7 years to your life, change how you think about aging. I'm not saying, well, maybe you already have a really positive outlook on aging, but just notice what messages you go around with in your head. Whether you say, oh, I'm too old, or I'm forgetting everything, I'm getting so old, oh, my brain's not what it used to be. You know, it's interesting. There are things about our brain with aging that actually improve. We want to watch out for those stereotypes. They're everywhere we go, on TV, in the media, in the movies. And so I'd like to really start a movement, an age liberation movement. Negative thinking about your age, not good, harmful for your health. Unfortunately, we can retrain our brain. We have what's called neuroplasticity. So we can change our brain, how it's wired, by changing how we think, how we act, and how we feel about aging. I wanted to throw that in there. All right, we can go on. And I have mentioned habits. There's so much information out there on habits. I did for you all at the very beginning of the year, Kickstart Your Health, and it was very much focused on mindset and habit. And these are just just a few of the major takeaways from that workshop regarding habit. Start small. You know, if we say, oh, I'm going to start walking a mile every day and lifting weights every other day, and I'll do some meditation for 5 minutes every morning, and I'll do, a revamp on my diet. Wow, that's a lot. Start with just a little bit, something that's manageable, maybe 5 minutes a day of something that's going to be helpful, and build on that. What if 5 minutes? The next week it's 7 minutes, and then the next week it's 9 minutes. You're going to end up with a lot of minutes focused on your health. Another important point is to focus not on so much willpower, but on setting yourself up to succeed. It's pretty hard to avoid sugar if you open up the pantry and the Oreos are staring you right in the face, right? I have to make an effort to not purchase certain food items because they just call my name all night long. So you want to set up your environment so you'll succeed, and only you really know where your pitfalls are. So it's an honest conversation about what you need to succeed, setting up your system. And then you want to be sure that you are looking at who you want to be, who you are, and your habits will identify you. They define us. So looking at our habits, like, how do I want to be defined? It's a pretty intimate conversation, but those are the main points I wanted to bring up when it comes to habit. Okay, we're going to go forward. Oh, here comes the fun part. We are going to move. We are going to do some breathing together, some moving together. I won't be doing a lot of information giving. I just want you to be in the practice. And remember, this is recorded, so you can watch this again. So if you missed something, you want to go back, you didn't understand it, you can always go back and watch the recording again. Before we get started, I want to do a reminder that there are some props you're going to need. The pinky ball. If you don't have a pinky ball, don't worry about it. Maybe you'll just, instead of doing the pinky ball, you can massage your hand. We're going to do hands and feet with the pinky ball, so you can do massage. Maybe you've got a tennis ball or a dog toy, or even put an orange, a firm orange in a sock so that you have something that you can squeeze and work with. I also asked you to have a strap, a yoga strap, or you could have a belt or a scarf, and then a block, which could also be a towel, and some light weights, which can be some soup cans. All right. I am a big fan of visuals. Some of us are visual learners, some of us are auditory learners. So before we get started, I'm going to give you a few of my visual aids. One of the cues that I often tell you is to breathe into your upper back. And I do that because people, when they take a deep breath, will often grab with their auxiliary breathing muscles. They grab with their throat and their chest. And this can be a function of maybe an upper respiratory condition, maybe from trauma, or just a habit. So when I ask you to breathe into your upper back, it's going to help with that, using the primary breathing muscles, which are your diaphragm and your intercostal muscles. That's a whole nother conversation. I did a webinar for you all on breath. So if you want to dive deeper, you can watch that one too. And here's your diagram. I want you to see, these are your lungs in your back body. So notice how big they are. First of all, did you know they were that big? And how much surface area they take up and how high they go up in your body. Look almost to your shoulders. Yeah. And let's look at the front. So if you look at the front, you can see up here would be your collarbones. Yep, your lungs come all the way up here. This is your diaphragm that sits here. It's actually what, these are passive air sacs. They can't move without a muscle moving them. So this is the muscle, the primary breathing muscle, the diaphragm, that will inflate the diaphragm. So that's a visual aid for breathing. I also want you to see your spine. And maybe you've been to the chiropractor and you already know what your thoracic spine is or your cervical spine. But if you look here, I have a little bit of a glare, so I like to turn it. The yellow is your cervical spine. That's where your neck is. The mid back is your thoracic spine. That's where your shoulder blades are. And then your low back is your lumbar spine. And then down here is your tailbone, and you have your sacrum over here. Okay. Because I'm going to give you some suggestions on when you moving from your thoracic spine, again, your mid upper back, and not hinging in your low back and not twisting from your low back. Those vertebrae, look how big they are. They're big and clunky. They're not good for heavy duty twisting there. All right. Hang in there. Last one. This one is your pelvis. How often do we talk about our pelvis, and do we really know our pelvis here? All right, so up here are your hip crests, and down here are your sitting bones. When you sit on a chair, that's the bony part of your pelvis that touches the chair seat. These are your legs over here. You can see here is your sacrum and your tailbone. I want you to know where your sit bones are, where your hip crests are. And last but not least, I didn't pull up the diagram, but your low ribs, I'm going to just sit up for a second here. Your low ribs are way down here, way down here. You're going to put your fingers, your low ribs. I'm going to ask you to draw them together when we do some of the core exercises. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I think we've covered everything. And again, if this is all new to you, go slow. You can go back. It takes a while for the brain to learn something new, and hopefully it's fun and that you're curious and that there are many exercises. Oh, I don't want to use that word. Many activities that we're doing today that will work for you. And again, we're going to start in the chair, then we'll go to standing, and then we're going to go to on the floor. You don't have to do any of them, and you can do all of them if you want. So bring your props with you, your pinky ball, your block, your strap, your weights, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to scoot my chair back here. Got my props ready for you. Again, weights can be soup cans. Let me soup cans. It can be water bottles, or you can use weights. So find a comfortable seat, and when you sit, be sure that when you're sitting, that your feet are flat on the floor. And if they aren't flat on the floor, then can you put something underneath your feet so that you can sit flat, feet flat. So notice when you sit, there's lots of different ways to sit. We can sit like this. We call this slumpasana. It's my favorite way to sit on the couch when I watch TV. We can sit like this, where we're hunching forward, or we can sit up nice and tall. It takes a lot of effort to do that, right? So that's what we're going to start with. Put your hands on your lap. You don't have to do it for very long, but we're going to start with this elegant posture. And then move. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Move so your shoulders are over your hips. You're using proprioception. That is really important when it comes to strength, mobility, and balance. Proprioception, where your body is in time and space. Where your body is in time and space is your proprioception. I don't know about you, but sometimes those walls just jump right out in front of me and I run into them. Proprioception. So bring your shoulders so they're over your hips, and then the back of your head, put it in line with your spine, right? So already I'm sitting up a lot taller. Remember I showed you where your sit bones are. Press down into your sit bones, and at the same time, lengthen up through the crown of your head. So your spine is getting some space there. Press down into your sit bones and lengthen up through the crown of your head. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and then drop them. Bring them up and drop them. There you go. Now bring your shoulders up just 2 inches, not very much. Shoulders back 2 inches and shoulder blades down your back 2 inches. Ah, can you feel that? You've got that really regal posture there. Elegant posture. That's lovely. All right. Feel the weight of your hands on your thighs. We're taking a moment to be in our bodies. So many of us walk around slightly removed from our bodies. We think we're too old, we're too stiff, we're too fat. We are so lucky to be here, and we're going to embrace that. So come into your body. Lucky us, we get to be here. And feel your feet on the floor. And feel all your toes, however many you happen to have. Hopefully you have your shoes off, but if not, that's okay. And lift your toes and put them back down. Press your feet into the floor. Bring your awareness over to your right elbow and let it be really heavy. So many of us walk around with our shoulders up by our ears. So let your right elbow be heavy. You're not yanking on it, just let it be heavy. And then left elbow very heavy, sinking towards the floor. There you go. I remember the picture I showed you of your lungs. Take an inhale into your upper back. And exhale all the way. Exhale completely. Let your exhale go to its natural conclusion. There you go. Bring your awareness to the roof of your mouth. I know, funny place to focus on, the roof of your mouth. And you can feel with your tongue how it's kind of a dome shape. I want you to bring your awareness to the upper back teeth, those back molars up top. And imagine they could widen away from each other so that the roof of your mouth starts to relax and soften. And if that just seems all too weird, just let your lower jaw relax. Let it unhinge away from your upper jaw. It's a really great way to calm your nervous system. So we're working on relaxing first. We relax to get strong. Very hard to strengthen a muscle that's tense. So we're going to relax first. And if possible, can you use just your nose for breathing? There's a lot of really good medicine in nasal breathing. So use the nose, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Inhaling, directing the breath into the upper back, And exhaling, follow the exhale to its very end. Do your best to get to a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. Nowhere to go, just be here. If the mind starts to wander, bring it back. This mindfulness practice is key to reducing stress and for aging well. I'm going to teach you a breath technique called cyclic sigh. It has other names, but the name I know it by is cyclic sigh. The way this breath works is we inhale through the nose, then another quick inhale through the nose, and a sigh out the mouth. And do it in a manner so it's not too much effort so that you could do it for a full 2 minutes. We'll just do about 3 rounds of it. So again, it's an inhale through the nose, another quick inhale, opening up the little chambers in the lungs, and then a sigh out the mouth. So you will open your mouth. All right, so let's do it 3 times together. Ready? All right, that's cyclic sigh. A lot of good research supporting that it's the most beneficial type of breathing exercise that we can do for relaxing the nervous system, for reducing anxiety. So we just practiced some fundamentals, grounding, being in our bodies, relaxing the roof of the mouth to release tension, and full commitment exhale, using the breath, breathing into the upper body, getting to a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale, with an additional cyclic sigh as a breathing technique. So as you're seated here, we're going to do something very simple but very powerful. A lot of times we have tension in our spine and we want to release, we want to liberate the whole spine by doing this little movement called Atlas axis mobilization. So it's a simple movement, and I know I'm far away from you, but it's just a very small movement of nodding your head ever so slightly. And we're trying to bring movement to the top of the spine. Remember, I showed you that picture? The top of your cervical spine, that's where those vertebrae, atlas and axis are. As if you couldn't even use muscles here. Can you just bring movement to the top of your spine? Nose is pointed straight ahead, eyes are open, and nod your head ever so slightly. Bring that movement to the top of your spine. There you go. The more you practice this, it's amazing how it can release tension. All right, now move your head side to side, like you're saying, no thanks. Just a little movement. And again, it's ever so subtle. So maybe from a distance you can't even see my head moving, but I am moving my head side to side. And it feels really good. All right, take the tip of your nose and paint a figure 8. It's a small one. Paint a figure 8 in the air with the tip of your nose. Eyes are open. Go the reverse direction. I forget how good this feels. Now turn your figure 8 on its side. It becomes an infinity sign and draw. And go the other direction. There you go. All right, that is your Atlas axis mobilization, moving the top 2 vertebrae at the top of your spine to liberate the rest of the spine. We're going to move into a seated cat-cow. This can be done on hands and knees, but we're going to do it seated here. Like I said, there are so many things we can do from a chair. Cat-cow, we're really going to move that spine. On the exhale, round your spine, look at your belly button, press your entire spine towards the wall behind you, or the space behind you. And then on the inhale, press into your sit bones, lift your sternum, that's your middle breastbone, lift it up towards the ceiling without throwing your head back. And you're creating extension in the upper back, not the low back. And then slowly with the breath, exhaling, rounding, coming into cat, rounding the spine. Try to bring movement to the mid spine, the thoracic spine between the shoulder blades. And then again, lifting up, press down into your sit bones, lift your collarbones up towards the ceiling, gently looking back. That's the cow pose. And then you come back to center, and that is cat-cow. Always welcome to do it longer, but I just want to give you a series of movements so that if you're in your chair, and by the way, I do not suggest watching TV while you do this. You're going to really lose the alignment of things. You're not going to be really in your body. You're going to be distracted. So, you know, I guess, TV, there's a time to watch TV and exercise, and that's probably more like when you're on the treadmill. Okay. We're going to move into a little bit of a neck stretch here. Let's extend your right arm out. I mirror you here. So you're going to extend your right arm out and pick up your left arm and bring it over your head and just weight onto your ear here. And then just let the hand be a little weight here and drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then reach your right fingertips away. Don't overdo this. As if you're like maybe there's a little puppy nearby you want to scratch behind the ear. You can move that arm a little bit. And then slide that hand down to your left ear and lift your head up so that you're not using muscles so much. All right, we'll go the other way. Reach your left arm up. Bring your right arm up over and just weight your head and then lean towards your right shoulder. Don't overdo it. Reach those fingers away. And slide that hand back to the right ear and lift your head. Come back up to center. There you go. Do some shoulder warm-ups by rolling your shoulders. Go both directions. You can make little circles or big circles. And then roll your wrists. Both directions. You can make a fist. Make a fist and curl your knuckles down towards the floor. And then up towards the ceiling, towards the floor. Big stretch towards the ceiling. A few more circles here. All right. Go ahead and do a few ankle circles while we're here. Reach that foot out. It can be on the floor and still you can point and flex. So you're pointing, pointing and flexing. If you can move, pick that foot up, maybe hold it up, do some ankle circles here. Be sure to do both sides. All right, we're going to move into something called seated dead bug. We also will be doing this on the floor. It's very different on the floor, but you can do it seated. Sitting up nice and tall, remember, press your sit bones down into the chair, lift up through the crown of your head. It's a cross crawl pattern that is so good for the brain. Excuse me. Many of our activities, it's not just about the body, but the brain and strengthening our cognitive abilities, doing something new. Did you know that people who go for a walk and go rather than the same walk that they do every day, take different paths? So much better for the brain. Yeah. So get off the beaten path. And I'm not saying get lost in the woods, but take a new route. All right. So this movement, this dead bug movement, we're going to work with the right brain, left brain connection. All right. So just very simply pick up your left foot and sit it down. Just up and down with your left foot and then right foot up and down. Yep. That's it. And then extend your arms out. And when they extend the arms out, notice you could go like this, but let's keep the shoulder blades on the back. So draw the shoulders back with the arms straight. Then bend your elbows. Your elbows are in line with your shoulders. I'm going to turn so you can see that. Your hands are about shoulder distance apart. Yep. All right. And just straighten one arm and bend it, and straighten one arm and bend it. Yeah, just do that a couple times. Straighten your left arm and look over your left shoulder. Bend back to starting. Straighten your right arm and look over your right shoulder. All right. So we're going to do that all together. We're going to do all three of those. Are you ready? All right. Bend your left arm. Pick up your right foot. Look over your right shoulder. Come back to starting. Bend your right arm. Look over your left shoulder. Pick up your left foot. Bend your left arm. Pick up your right foot. Look over your right shoulder. Come back. Let's do the opposite. Right foot, left arm. Whoops, I'm sorry. Left foot, right arm. Look over at left shoulder. back to where you started. We'll do one more. Pick up your right foot, bend your left arm, look over your right shoulder. There you go. Dead bug. I mirror you, so I actually have to do with my body the opposite of what I say. That's a real brain teaser for me, but it's kind of fun to do too. All right, so I mentioned the pinky ball. I'm hoping that you have the pinky ball, and I'm going to come closer because I think it'll be a lot easier for you to see what's going on if I move closer to you. And with this pinky ball movement, I like to have a block. So you can or cannot have the block, but or a table nearby. Again, if you don't have this pinky ball or tennis ball or something that can improvise for this prop, what you'll do instead is you'll be doing a massage. You'll be using your other hand, working with the joints. We're working on grip strength. So important. Grip strength is not just your hand, but it's your forearm, right? Holding the grocery bags, undoing a jar. So many things that we need that grip strength for. We're going to work with the pinky ball. I kind of like it because for me, I have and if some of us may have arthritis, I have a condition called Dupuytren, so there's some affecting my hands now. But I love the pinky ball, and I will often do a lot of massage with it. All right, so start with the pinky ball in your left hand and give it a really good squeeze. Squeeze it as hard as you can, really hard, even harder. You can use your face if you want, and open your hand and squeeze it again and squeeze as hard as you can. There's something that you have in your household that you can squeeze. It can be a rolled up bunch of socks. All right, and open. All right. So when I turn, it's just to give you a different view. You don't need to turn. Open your hand up really wide and press your thumb into the ball hard. You want to strengthen your fingers. Open. Index finger, press hard. Open. Middle finger, hard. Open. Want to strengthen those fingers. Ring finger, open, and pinky. And press. If you drop your ball, just pick it up. Roll the ball over so now it's between your index finger and your thumb. I'm just showing you where it is, okay? But palm towards the ceiling. Without using your other hand, slide the ball over so now it's between your index finger and your middle finger. Can you do it without holding your thumb there? I have long fingers, so I have a little bit of an advantage here. Then slide it over so now it's between your middle finger and your ring finger. And then slide it over now it's between your ring finger and your pinky. I do have to hold my thumb there to keep that there. There you go. Bring the ball over to the other hand, put your hand down and just do a nice massage. Working on fascia, that's connective tissue. Don't press hard, just a little massage and go up your arm a little bit if you'd like. Yeah, there you go. For me, when I do my other hand, my pinky finger has a lot of stiffness. It feels really good to do that. And I find that I get more mobility working with the pinky ball. One more nice big squeeze. There you go. All right, switch hands. So probably in your right hand now. And again, I have the block here so I can relax. Squeeze really hard as you can. Open. Squeeze again. Open. Press your thumb into the ball. Open. Index finger. Open. I am right-handed, so this is much harder. Middle finger, open. Ring, press hard, open, and pinky. Don't ignore the pinky finger, press hard, open. Slide the ball over between the index finger and the thumb, then slide it over, create that mobility, middle finger and index. And then over to middle finger and ring. And then ring finger, oh, it doesn't want to open as much there. Ring finger and pinky. And then switch. Put your hand down and do a nice little massage down the fingertips all over the hand. I'm going to spend some extra time on that pinky finger that doesn't want to straighten anymore. That feels really good. Okay. And then one last nice big squeeze. Don't let your pinky ball travel too far away. We're going to use it again for our feet. You can set that block aside. I'm going to come back so you get a better view. And remember, these are just options. Maybe you do a couple of the things that I showed you. Anything you do That is moving your joints, working on your strength, working on your balance. It's wonderful. We do better when we feel better. So always focus on what you're accomplishing rather than beating yourself up. All right? You can set your pinky ball aside. We'll use it again in a second. But grab that strap. And again, it can be a scarf or a dish towel. It's got to be pretty long. And I want you to put it underneath the ball of your left foot. Hold one strap in each hand. Lift your foot up off the mat and press the ball of your foot into the strap and press your heel forward at the same time. I'll turn so you can see a different view. The strap is under the ball of the foot, not the arch. Press into the strap. At the same time, press your heel forward. Try to have your arms long, but sit up tall. Remember the shoulders. There you go. And you're doing an active stretch by pressing into the strap and pushing the heel forward. There you go. Yeah, you put both straps into your left hand. Just move that leg out to the side a little bit without moving your pelvis. Your hips are staying facing forward. And back to center. Even bring it over a little bit here. Pull your pinky toe towards your outer hip. You can switch hands. And pull your pinky toe of that extended foot. Pull it towards your outer hip. You feel that stretch along the outside. That's good for the IT band. And come back to center. If you want, you can bring that leg up. Maybe it doesn't come up here. Maybe it comes here, wherever you can get it. Got this nice little hoist here. Press your sit bones into the chair. Lift up through the crown of your head. And I want to reach the crown of my head across the room. So you too. Reach the crown of your head across the room, over to where the wall and ceiling meet. Keep lengthening the spine, reaching the crown of the head forward. And if you want to keep coming forward, you can. You can put some weight onto the thigh here with your arm. And lengthening the spine here, and then come back up, and we'll switch. Strap goes underneath the ball of the foot on the right foot. Walk your hands down the strap. I'm going to turn so you can see, sitting up really tall. Press your foot, the ball of your foot into the strap, and press your heel forward. An active stretch. You can lift your leg up higher if you want, or it can be down low. And then both straps into the right hand and bring that leg out without turning. Just bring that leg out a little bit. Sit up tall. And come back and switch hands and just bring that leg over a little bit. This is where you pull the pinky toe of that extended foot. Pull it towards your outer hip. Then you can use that strap to bring that ankle across the thigh. It can be here as well. Wherever it makes sense for you. Sit up really tall. Might feel very different on this side. This is definitely a lot of asymmetry in the body. Sit up really tall. Lengthen the crown of the head up towards the ceiling and then reach it across the room. And go slow. Breathe into that tight area. When you exhale, try to soften a little bit. And then come back up. Don't get rid of the strap. We're going to use the strap a little bit more here. We're going to use the strap for the arms. Let's bring the strap down across the thighs here. Hold on to the strap so that your hands are a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. A little bit wider. Then give the strap or the scarf or the dish towel with the belt, whatever you have, a little snap. Don't overdo it here, but I want you to have some tension, some tautness to it. Bring the strap down, inhale into your upper back, and then exhale, lift up shoulder height. And lower. And shoulder height. And lower. And again, stay here. A little bit of tension there. Inhale into your upper back. And exhale, lift the straps up. Lift the strap up. Press down into your sitting bones. And back to shoulder height. And up. And shoulder height. And one more time. Open your hands really wide. Drop the strap behind your head without pitching your head forward. So wherever you can go, maybe the strap stays in front of you, but maybe you can bring it back behind you. It's opening for your chest. All right, if you can bring it down all the way down. You can open your hands up wider if you want. But don't let the head move forward here. Working on opening the chest. Put the strap up nice and high. Keep the hips facing forward and turn to your left. Come back to center and turn to your right and back to center. Press down into your sit bones. Lift up from your armpits and side bend over to the left. Keep that right sitting bone really heavy. Come back up to center and lean over to the right, keeping the left sitting bone heavy. You're opening up the right side of your body as well as the left. Come back up to center, and then you can let go of that strap and set it back down. Remember, I mentioned having a towel or a block. You're going to put the block between your knees, and on your exhale, squeeze that block so you can feel the belly muscles activating and relax. And on the exhale, squeeze, pick up your toes off the floor and toes down. Inhale, squeeze, lift your heels up really high. There you go. And one more time, inhale, squeeze the block and lift your toes. And put your feet down, set the block aside. Sit to stand. Sit to stand, not plop to sit. All right? Maybe hands across. See if you can do it without holding onto the chair. Just do your best. Maybe you need a little bit of help from the chair. That's okay. But what I want to see you do, when you come forward, press in and go slowly stand all the way up. And then this is the important part. No plopping. Bend. Reach the sit bones back. And gently set yourself back down. Okay? No plopping. No plopping allowed. Do your best. Maybe you have to do a little pressing down into your seat. All right, here we go. Press into your feet, press into your legs, stand all the way up, stand tall. Bend your knees, reach your sit bones way back. Pause here, and then gently sit back down. Let's do 3 more. Stand. Sit. Stand. This one gives a lot of good workout to the legs, to the core, to the glutes. And one more. Coming all the way back up. And last one. Sitting back down. I'm going to turn my chair. We're going to do a pose called Warrior 2, but you can do a Warrior 2 pose. This is from yoga with a chair. So I'm going to use the corner of the chair and one foot on one side and the other foot on the other side. Look at my back foot. I'm going to turn my foot so the back foot's on a diagonal. My heel is closer towards the end of the mat. Press into the pinky toe side of that back foot. Hopefully you can see that. Pinky toe side of the back foot, foot's on a little bit of a diagonal. Front knee is bent. Pressing into the pinky toe side. Extend your arms out and look over your front fingers. Working on pressing into the pinky toe side of the back foot. There you go. Take a moment to take a nice big inhale into your upper back. And exhale all the way. Feel free to add a smile. Now let's go the other direction. It's going the other direction. You're just opposite foot is bent. Reach back. And again, the back foot is at a diagonal. Pressing into the lateral edge, the edge of the back foot where the pinky toe is. Really press in there. Front knee is bent. Extend the arms out. Lift up through the crown of your head. And just be here, right here. Put your mind where your feet are. All right. You can let go of that pose. Last but not least, for the seated poses, we're going to do a seated twist. Move the chair back so it's facing forward. Press into your sit bones. Do you remember what I showed you with your spine? There's the cervical spine where your neck is, the thoracic spine where your shoulders, your upper back is, and then your lumbar spine. Big, heavy-duty, clunky vertebrae down there. They're not meant to do twisting. Twisting is going to come from your thoracic spine and your cervical spine. Hips stay facing forward. All right. You can hold on to the chair with your left hand. Reach back behind there. Hold it with your left hand. Bring your right arm up and then twist to your left and just drop that hand down. You're not pulling, you're not torquing yourself here. Bring those left ribs around. Let them follow your spine. Look over your left shoulder and pull your belly button to the right. As you twist left, pull just the belly button to the right. There you go. Sit up really tall. Press your sitting bones into the chair and lift up through the crown of your head, sitting up tall. Maybe twisting a little bit more. Inhale through your nose. Inhale into your upper back. And exhale all the way. Now we'll come back and we'll do the other side. Reach back behind you. Bring your left arm up. Drop it across your thigh here. Sit up really tall. Press into the sit bones. Lift up through the crown of your head. Notice how these right ribs are going to follow the spine, follow the left ribs as you twist. And looking over the right shoulder, pull just your belly button to the left. Long breaths here. Breathing through your nose is one of the best ways to calm your nervous system and to have better health. And it's so simple. You can practice it by getting some little first aid tape and putting it over your mouth and just breathing through your nose. All right, and come back to center if you need that reminder. We're going to come up to standing now. That was our seated portion. They're probably clever enough to do some of the things that we're going to do standing that you could do seated. So come to standing. Let's talk about posture for a second here. What I want you to do here is just simply rock your weight forward and back and side to side. And then land so that you feel your weight is right over your medial arch, that middle arch there. Let your tailbone be heavy. Many of us have a tendency to tuck our tailbone. Kind of looks like a gunslinger, like this. Little bend of the knees and the tailbone, the sitting bones come forward. I want you to let your tailbone be really heavy. Long towards the floor. There you go. There you go. Shoulders up 2 inches, back 2 inches, shoulder blades down your back. Beautiful. We're going to do a standing warm-up. If you only have one thing to do when you get out of bed in the morning to start lubricating the joints, to do some activity, you can even do this after your coffee. I recommend the standing warm-up. It's really simple. Maybe you hold on to a chair for balance, or you can hold on to your hips. But first, we're going to just shake an arm, shake another arm, shake both arms, shake a leg, shake the other leg, shake your arms and your legs, do a little bouncing. Okay, good for the lymph system, good for the joints. We're warming up the body here. Bring your arms up, hands up high and drop, and let them swing back up and drop. One more time and drop. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and drop. Shoulders up to your ears and drop. I'm really hoping that you're seeing that we're starting to put all of our joints into range of motion here. Roll your shoulders forward and roll your shoulders back. There you go. Open your feet up a little wider. We're going to do this is called from Tai Chi or Qigong, knocking on the door of life. All we're going to do is turn side to side. Notice how my heel lifts. And then we're going to get a little more enthusiastic. And look how your arms can wrap around your body. Slap the back of your hand against your kidney area. I'm going to show you what that means. Here, pardon my back. You're waking up energy. You get more enthusiastic. And then you can also add, tap your heart. There you go. What a wonderful way to wake up. All right, and then slow it down and come back. We'll do a little bit of swimming here. Open your feet a little wider than your hips and reach out at a diagonal and scoop that water and reach out. We're working on the back and scoop. Do a couple more of these. A good way to avoid pulling muscles in your back. Warming up the muscles here. And one more time. Hands on your hips. We're going to do a little dance step. Nose pointed straight ahead. Bring your left foot around, bring your left hip around, and make a T. Look straight ahead, and then make an upside down T. Really bring that whole side of your pelvis here. We're doing the left foot forward, making a T and an upside down T. And back to center. Do the other side, anchor into the left foot. Bring the right foot around and back and around and back. And one more time. Around and back. Nice job. Bring your heels together. Press your heels together. Hands on your hips or arms crossed. Press your heels together. Bend your knees. Lift your heels. Now straighten your legs. Do it slowly. Slowly lower your heels. Bend your knees. Lift your heels. Straighten your legs. And lower your heels. Lovely. Let's use this chair for projected lunge. Probably want to have the seat towards you. You can use the chair or not. Hands on your hips. Take a big step back with your right foot. Land on the ball of your foot. Bring your shoulders up. Take a peek here. Shoulders are over the hips. Hinge at your hips and come forward. Just about maybe 2/3 of the way. Stay right here. Press your heel back as you press your shin forward. Bring your hands to your heart. Lengthen through the crown of your head back through your tailbone. Big movement here. It's working on balance. It's working on leg strength, proprioception. Come back up. You can also hold onto the chair. Hands to your hips. Come forward. Take a big step back with the opposite foot. Come all the way up here. No leaning forward quite yet. Reach that heel back. Hinge at the hips. Hands to your heart. Nose pointed towards the top of your mat. Again, we can use the chair here. So nice long breath. Hands to your hips, come all the way forward and spring forward. Open your feet nice and wide. We'll do a little bit of work for the ankles and shin mobility. It's so important to keep our ankles supple and mobile. Very important for the knees, the hips, the low back. Open your feet really wide. Bend your knees. I want you to lean forward a little bit, actually, like this. Kind of sticking your butt out. And then straighten your legs. It's a sumo pose. Feet are really wide. Bend your knees, hinging forward, and straighten. Just do that a few more times. Bend and straighten. Bend, stay here. Maybe you have a chair you're holding on to. Lift up your right heel and hold it up really high and slowly lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up the other heel and slowly lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press through the feet. Come back up. Bend your knees. Lift both heels. You can hold on to a chair. And slowly lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press through the feet. Lock the feet together. Pause for a second. Let's go ahead and take those weights. So you can use those soup cans if you'd like. Soup cans if you'd like. You're going to step your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Hinge at the hips. Bring the soup cans to your hips and press the soup cans back. The only thing moving is your lower arm. So you're hinging forward just a little bit. The only thing moving, look at my elbows, my upper arms, they're not moving. I'm pressing back. This is great for your triceps. If you prefer, you can do one at a time, having a hand on the chair. Again, soup can stays close to the hip or your weight. It's called a kickback. You can feel that tricep working. A little hinging forward here. It's a small movement. Good. And step forward. Do a few bicep curls. Have the soup can face, the palms facing, and then turn. Palms face in. And then bring it up. All right. You can set those soup cans aside. I want to make sure I do a little bit more for your feet, particularly for people suffering from plantar fasciitis. So grab that pinky ball, and you can hold on to a wall or the chair and move that pinky ball around. Let it massage your foot. There you go. Feels so good. Maybe stop at a spot that feels a little more cranky and do a little twisting or pulsing. You can also have your heel on the floor and wave your foot so it goes across your foot. I usually do at least 5 minutes a foot here. We're just doing a little drive-by on the feet right now. And again, roll it all over. Slide that ball forward so it's underneath the ball of your foot. Curl your toes down. That's a big stretch across the transverse arch, the top of your foot. People get very stiff here. And toes up and toes down. And one more time. Again, if you don't have the pinky ball, you want to get one. And you can also be massaging with your hands here. Ooh, stand off and notice how that feels. Oh, that feels really good. More grounded. Do the other side, rolling the ball around. Stop where there's a cranky spot and do a little twist and pulse. Find another cranky spot. Heel on the floor and wave your foot. You can go across different areas. There you go. Slide the ball forward. It's under the ball of your foot. The toes curl down. Big stretch there. Toes up, toes down. All right. And lastly, lean against the wall. This is still for your working on your feet. And lift up your foot as high as you can and bring it down. Lift it up. Hold it for 3 seconds and down. Hold it up as high as you can. 3 seconds and down. And one more time. Lift up and down. We'll add one more to it because ankle mobility, can't say enough about how important it is. Come to the wall. Put your foot, your right foot forward or left, I don't care which one you do, about 2 inches from the wall. Hold on to the wall. And then I want you to tap your knee to the wall without your toes lifting on the front foot. If you can't do it, you're going to have to slide your foot forward. If it's too easy, slide your foot back. Tap your knee to the wall. Your heel stays down, your knee stays down. Are you feeling that stretch in the calf and the shin? Yeah. This is a great one. Make sure the knee comes straight forward towards your second toe. Try the other side. Start with about an inch or two from the wall. Come forward. Oh, way easier on this side. So I'm going to slide that foot back quite a bit. And tap. And back. Big difference for me one side to the other. Both feet are back, hands higher than your shoulders. Push your bottom out, way out. Drop your chest towards the floor. You're not in a 90-degree angle here. Your hands are up higher. Press your bottom back toward the wall behind you and drop your chest towards the floor. Another good chest opener. Press into the wall to come back up. Do a few push-ups. Elbow to the wall. Step back a little bit more if that's too easy. Elbows to the wall. A few push-ups here, working on strength. Remember, resistance bands are awesome. There's a lot we're not doing today because I just want to introduce you to what you can do without much at all. Come forward. All right. So just a few things that you can do standing and using a wall, using some soup cans, using your pinky ball. I just want to make sure that you are not going too fast. Take little bites off before you move on to something else. We're going to come to the floor and just do a couple of things on the floor that are really good for the core. If you are not comfortable coming to the floor, you don't have to. If you have that strap, that would be nice. I'm going to show you how to do a sit-up that really uses your core muscles. So many of us that do sit-ups just using our head and neck. I have found that for me, and maybe you as well, I avoid doing core work because it's so uncomfortable. My neck hurts. And I feel that if we go slowly and really have the right technique, And don't try to do too much, then we can really start to strengthen the core. So I'm hoping that I can show you a couple of things for strengthening your core. Okay. And again, that reminder of knitting the ribs. So your low ribs are here. Put one finger on each side and draw those fingers together using your belly muscles. One finger each side, draw those fingers together. That's knitting the ribs. Okay. So we're going to come to the floor. You may be a spectator here, or maybe you're joining me. Have that strap nearby. You're going to use it in a second. Have that block. Lie on your back. Bend your knees. And then just do a little bit of feeling your low back. I want you to press it into the floor and arch it away. Press it into the floor and arch it away. Now bring your low back down, but don't imprint it. Don't press it down. Have enough space under your low back for a ladybug. Pick up your head and lengthen through the crown of your head. Back of your neck is long. Draw those low ribs towards each other, just a little bit. This is neutral spine. Pick up one foot, knee over hip. Slowly set it down. Put your heel in line with your sit bone. Pick up your other foot. Just keep the knee over the hip. Don't bring it into your chest. And slowly put it down. Lift from the top of your hamstrings, way up by the bottom. Lift up, knee over hip. And can you feel how your core is supporting you here? And last one. Good. Put the block between your knees. On your exhale, squeeze the block. On your inhale, relax. Pick your feet up off the floor. Knees are over the hips. It's cheating if you bring your knees over your belly. Knees over your hips. Inhale. Squeeze the block and lift your feet towards the ceiling. And release. Exhale, squeeze the block. Lift the feet towards the ceiling. Release. One more time. Squeeze the block. Lift the feet towards the ceiling. Try tapping your toes down. Lift back up. Lift your feet. Tap your toes. That's all part of the exhale. The inhale is the knees come back over hips. Exhale, squeeze the block, lift the feet, tap the toes, and back. You can set that block down. Remember how we did dead bug? We did dead bug seated. This is dead bug on your back. So I'm going to pick the intermediate version. There's 3 versions. We're going to do intermediate version here. Pick your feet up off the floor, straighten your legs, point your toes, plantar flexion, dorsal, plantar. Put your arms up in the air, drop your shoulders, your arms are straight. Bring your right leg out to the side and your left arm the other direction. Come back to center. Bring your left leg out to the side. Don't rock onto your thigh. I want you to keep your pelvis really steady. Right arm the other direction. Slowly come back out. Now see how far can you bring that right leg out to the side without tipping your pelvis. Bring the right leg out, left arm the other direction. How far can you go without tipping or tilting? Slowly come back up. Don't forget to breathe. And then left leg, right arm. And slowly come back up. All right, you can release. Last but not least, we're not doing a lot of floor work today. I'm feeling like that the sitting and standing is probably the most important, but a lot more we could do. I want you to use the strap if you've never done a sit-up where you feel like you were really using your core and not your neck. I want you to lie down on the strap. And it's most important that you have the tail overhead so you can hold real close to your head. It's a hammock. It's just a little place to relax your head. It's not to pull you up. Elbows are in your peripheral vision, meaning you can see them out the corner of your eyes, not squeezed in, not flopped out. All right. Tip your chin a smidge. There's enough space between your chin and your chest for a small peach. Inhaling to your upper back, lifting your shoulder blades off the mat. Exhale, knit your low ribs together and look at your belly button. Lift more of your shoulder blades. Drop your head into that strap. Look at your belly button. Knit your low ribs. Inhale into your upper back. Exhale all the way. And keeping the ribs knitted, slowly come back down. That's a little mini crunch where you're really using the transverse abdominis, the corset muscles. Well, let's do 2 more. Your very best, nice and slow. Inhale, shoulder blades come up, a little tip of the chin. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Relax your head into that strap. Reach for the crown of your head. Knit your ribs to come up a little higher. Shoulder blades off the mat, looking toward your belly button. Inhale into your upper back. Relax your head. Relax your face. Keep the ribs knitting as you slowly lower back down. Last one is going to be the most perfect. You can also clasp at the base of your skull. Tip of the chin just a smidge. Inhale, come up, shoulder blades off the mat. Exhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Lift from your armpits. Get the shoulder blades off the mat. Your head's really dropped into the strap or your hands. Lower ribs are knitting. Maybe come up a little bit higher. Keep the low ribs knitted as you come back down. Nice job. And that is your mini crunch. All right. There's so much more we could do. Maybe we'll just do one more here for you on your belly before we wind this thing down. This is called the McKenzie method. It's often used by physical therapists for people who have pain in their low back. It's a lot about finding extension in your upper back, not dumping into your low back, and working on strength. We'll come onto your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, kind of underneath your armpits. The tops of your feet are pressing down. Press your pubic bone into the mat. Remember what I showed you with your spine, how it's the thoracic spine, mid-spine that can do extension, not the low back. Lift your chest away. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling and lower down. That's all it is. Maybe you look up for a second so you can see what's going on here. Lengthen through the crown of the head, lift the chest away, lift the collarbones up towards the ceiling, lower back down. All the extension is coming from shoulder blades, tip of the shoulder blades up the thoracic spine. So we're going to do 3 more of these. Press into the pubic bone, reach back through your pinky toes, lift yourself away, look forward. 1. Use the exhale for the exertion. So when you push up, exhale. 2. And last one. Press down through the pubic bone. 3. See if you can lift your entire body up, pressing. All right. A little bit of core work, not a lot. We're going to come back to our slideshow here. I want to wrap it up for you. We just have a few more minutes together. Well, that's the E word, exercise. I like to think of it as fitness or movement. So important, even if you don't feel like it. It's hard. It's really hard if things are going on in your life that are hard, depressing. You have a lot you're dealing with. Taking, even if it's a 5-minute walking around your house, if you can get outside, 20 minutes would be amazing. Getting outside, getting fresh air, getting sunshine will really help with your mood, your memory, your performance, with your strength, your balance, and your mobility. All right. Start small. Remember, atomic habit, tiny but powerful. Start small, whatever you can do. Think of my friend in the wheelchair. All right. Next slide, please. Here's a few tips that might help you. You want to make it work for you. Maybe it's doing it with a friend. Maybe it's putting in your calendar. Maybe it's recording it. Having a plan. Do you ever hear that saying? The problem with the plan is there never was one. I have a plan on how you're going to succeed. It may not be the way I succeed. Next slide, please. These are some links to the research I was talking to you about. We'll go to the next one. You can come back and watch this. I always want to remind you to get a physical. Think about resistance training, getting those resistance bands. They're amazing. So many things on the internet to help you with this. And AARP has hundreds of classes for you. All right, next slide, please. Please don't forget about getting more protein into your diet, getting walks, be sure to rest, and being consistent. Just like go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time is the #1 sleep hygiene tip. Be consistent. Build it into your day when you know you can do it. If I tell myself I'm going to exercise at the end of my day, it seldom happens. Yeah. So even if you only have 5 minutes, get up 5 minutes earlier. All right. Next slide, please. Some other ways that you can get support. Again, AARP, so many wonderful podcasts, YouTube. Next slide, please. So a little review for you all. Maintaining our mobility, strength, and balance so that we age well is so key to preventing injuries and improving our overall well-being, including our mental health. And the ways we know how to do that, you can go to the next slide. Oh, we also want to be able to prevent falls, keep our independence, improve our quality of life. So many long-term health benefits that we covered before. Any little bit we can do makes a difference, and doing it with an attitude of positivity makes all the difference. We do better when we feel better. So whatever you can do is awesome. Next slide, please. There's your ideas on how to maintain your mobility, strength, and balance. We talked about all of those things. Next slide, please. Oh, I love this sign. My friend made this sign. I have it in my front yard. Aging is living. There's no such thing as too experienced. Every age is the right age. Retirement is not a requirement. Longevity is the best thing to happen in ages. Age is not the problem. Ageism is the problem. And we talked about that, about mindset. And people with a healthy aging mindset get to live longer. And lucky us, we get to age. Not all of us got so lucky. And next slide, please. Many of us are caregivers. We take care of other people, whether it's grandchildren or an aging relative. It's hard to get that time in for ourselves. But if we can fill our own cup first, then we have something to give other people. Can't pour from an empty cup. All right, and the next slide, please. Every day is a new beginning. And if you want to stay connected, there's my email. I'd love to hear from you. It is such an honor to share this experience with you. I hope I've been helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'd love to hear from you. I really appreciate AARP Illinois for this opportunity, and I appreciate you for letting me do what I so much enjoy, and it's one of my reasons for showing up every day. All right. Until we meet again, be well. Bye, everyone.